Today we're talking to head coach Neil Sorvel ahead of Sunday's huge game down in Bromley, National League playoff semi-finals. And Neil, you're I think the only person at the club who's been involved in one of these, a National League playoff semi-final. It was a while ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2007, wasn't it, season? It was York, wasn't it? 2 legs. It was different then. I think we finished third. Was it third? Yeah. Played the fourth place team and second played fifth. Yeah, so a little bit different in terms of the 2 legs. Back in that time, obviously with the 2 extra teams in now as well. Yeah.
And semi-finals typically very, very nervy affairs. We saw a very untypical qualifier eliminator the other night, Solihull Moors against FC Halifax Town, and in the end, no doubt about who deserved to get through.
Yeah, it started well, didn't they? Solihull, really bright start. Probably missed another good chance, didn't they? Could have been 4 easily. I maybe got a little bit lucky with one of the deflections, but yeah. Created some good chances early on there, and it was interesting. The guys doing the commentary were saying about last season and the team who tended to score first. I think 4 out of the 5 games, did they say, ended up losing the game. But no, it was an interesting game.
Certainly an interesting weekend last weekend with all the shenanigans with the National League. But ultimately, we've come out of that very positively because apart from the fact that we'll be missing George Wilson, who's suspended on Sunday, everything else is positive, and it's great to have a week to prepare. Yeah,
it's nice to have the free week. Probably mixed feelings about it, to be honest, in terms of what happened last weekend on the Sunday. Bit of a shambles, wasn't it? And to-ing and fro-ing and... if you look at the rules, I suppose, if the rules are that an 8th place team can't come into the playoffs and then everything will be adjusted according to finishing position, I think the right decision has been made. And obviously, cup ties are different in terms of one-off games or a cup run. You could get home draws, for example. I think across a 46-game league season, you pretty much finish where you deserve to finish. So I think in the end the correct decision was made that we got the route through to the semi-final.
Great sympathy, I think, for Gateshead, not only from what's happened to them and they're not been allowed to play in the playoffs, but they're a very good side, and like everybody in the playoffs, they would have had a decent chance.
Yeah, definitely, really good side, and a little bit. Probably would have liked the game against Halifax on the Tuesday night in front of our own fans under the lights. Would have been a good occasion, just like the semi-final was last year. Probably tinge of disappointment from that point of view. It maybe been better if everyone was available to play. I've had one of them myself with Mac back in the day when we won the old conference and. We couldn't go up ourselves, and so because of the ground grading situation, so rules, I suppose.
In terms of Bromley, finished third in the lead, an excellent side, and much more experienced at this type of thing than Altrincham Football Club.
Yeah, I think so. I think 3 times out of the last 4 seasons, is it? They've made the playoffs, and the season they didn't, they had the FA Trophy at Wembley. They won the trophy, so probably more experienced at the level, and I'm sure they'll be thinking, hey, this is their year this time. So great for us to be involved. Once you're in the playoffs, you're in it not to make the numbers up, and you're in it to have a right go and win it. And one-off games, anything can happen. So we're really looking forward to it.
And whilst we've never beaten Bromley at the J. Davidson Stadium, we have won at Bromley. It was the first time the two sides ever met, and we've got a reasonable record there: won 1, drawn 3, and lost 1. And there've been some good games.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think since we've been in, we've not won there. So in 4 seasons, we've not won at Bromley. I think we lost the first season. And then the 3 seasons, obviously this season's and the 2 seasons prior, we've drew the 3 games there. I think one was late on. Moon scored a really good goal late on, 1-1. Season before last season, was the Gouldy incident, wasn't it, where we lose the keeper. And then this season, both teams down to 10 men with probably half an hour to go. So all games with lots of incident in them as well, yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of the game last season, 38 degrees, it was probably the hottest day ever on an artificial pitch that's reflecting the heat. It was pretty horrible conditions.
Yeah, it was. It was really tough conditions on the day, yeah. I think it was Jordan, wasn't it, who went in the goal, and probably still to this day saying about keeping a clean sheet. So, hey, fair play to him for going in. It's just his playing out was terrible.
We played pretty well that day. I remember Chris Clark had I think a chance in the first half, and a good chance late on. A couple of very good saves from Reece Charles Cook, but it was a good performance. Of course, the game just before Christmas, on the Saturday before Christmas Day, Bromley probably played as well as any team have played against us this season.
Yeah, it was tough for us. I thought we'd nicked the goal, hadn't we, on the counter attack. We'd sustained a lot of pressure there. The couple of chances really were. He probably should have scored. He pressed us a little bit higher up the pitch than they would usually do. And then I think when the game went to 10 men, and we'd gone 2-1 down, I think we got a grip of it then. Both teams changed formation at that point, and we did better with the 10v10, I think, and had more opportunities. I think Dior hit the bar from the angle late on, and Noob's goal, fantastic free kick to get us the point. I think we'll always remember the celebration from the fans with the all in fancy dress, weren't they, that day? Yeah.
They certainly were, and the co-chairman Bill Waterson in there as well on the terraces, where we'll have 700 fans on Sunday. And that night, because it was a late kick-off, because it was on TV, on TNT Sports, we scored 2 great goals. Magnificent free kick by Alex Newby, and we've got to recognise the run that led to the free kick from Justin Amaluzor, which was sensational, but also the first goal, the build-up, fantastic. Yeah,
it was a good bit of play. I think it was a little scrappy bit of possession, and I think Isaac won the ball and drove forward for us. I think Marcus Dacker's involved, made a little run beyond, and then he played Chris in, and a nice little cut back across the box for Noobs. Still not sure whether it was his goal, but it was an own goal, but hey, we'll let him have it, yeah. And hey, look, to sell the 700 tickets is fantastic. I'm sure we'd have sold more if there was more capacity. Obviously not the biggest ground. Just think back to the Chorley game where we took about 1,200, didn't we? 1,200. Fantastic to see the fans, travel in the numbers and get behind us, and hopefully we can get the right result on the day.
Mentioned the artificial pitch. I think it's fair to say that none of the artificial pitches in the National League, Oxford, City, Dorking, or particularly Dorking, or Bromley, are the best.
No, and they can, depending on the weather, they can get pretty dry and sticky at certain points as well. We're used to training on one. Obviously, we've got one here at our facility that we use, and we've probably trained on it this year more than we would have liked. With the weather being really poor and the pitches, being underwater a lot. Like I say, we've trained out on that. more than we would have liked this season. That's where it is. But we're used to that type of surface, as I suppose most clubs are now. A lot of clubs have got that type of surface to train on and use if need be.
And we're the form team. We're going into these playoffs with plenty of momentum. Bromley have clearly had a very good season. Bit of a dicky start, then fantastic run up until the early part of the new year. And then they've been a little bit in and out in the last 15 or so games.
Yeah, I think they started really poorly, didn't they? And I remember we went and watched them. Me and Phil went and watched them at Rochdale on the Friday night, and classic kind of Bromley type performance, what they're very good at, and then we played them the following. They nicked the win off us at home. We shouldn't have lost that game at all. Control the majority of that game. I think a little bit of overplaying late on, and they nick a goal. But I think for me, the players they've got and the style of play's changed a little. I think they did a better side than they have been when we first come in the league. They've always been strong and physical and very direct, but I think they play some good stuff this season. I think for me, this is the best kind of football they've played this season with the players they've got.
And we're going into Sunday's game fully prepared. A good week behind us here at Egerton, and it's certainly not going to go wrong for poor planning.
No, definitely. We've planned like we normally do. Focus on the opposition. It's nice to have a free week. I think we had that period where it's Saturday, Tuesday gets really tough in terms of your preparation and your analysis for the opposition. But it's always nice to have a free week. We've planned like we always do. Not changed anything there. So yeah, we'll be ready and good to go come Sunday.
Well, good luck. From the Alti fans, we'll be right behind you on Sunday. Sure, it's going to be a fantastic occasion in front of the TNT Sports cameras, and I'm sure we're going to give it our very, very best shot.